definitions and training of what the E stands for, and it stands for equity. And what it stands for is we create a level playing field for hiring. But at the end of the day, you hire the best candidate. And by the way, that's not just a statement. That's like in the laws of the United States. There's a great piece that Sarah Carmichael at Bloomberg put out about this. Quotas are not legal. You can't do quotas. You cannot make hiring decisions, even in a tie condition, on the basis of gender, race, ethnicity. It's just not legal. All of us that have gone through corporate training know that the thing we're told is build a bias-free process, have a diverse slate of candidates, have a bias-free interviewing process, make sure that you find ways to do it, but make the hire on the basis of who's the best candidate for the job. And that's what's under attack, which is honestly absurd, but it's also being driven by politics, because why not? Everything else is being driven by politics these days. Right. This is not about quotas to one side. And to the other side, this is actually not about equality. I'm talking about equity, not equality. Businesses are not actually here to solve all of society's issues. Business is the biggest force for social good. I don't think that's the primary job of business. I think the primary job of business is to serve its customers, to grow its business. I do think it's in the best interest of business and its employees and all of its stakeholders to do a lot of these things. But I think you've got to be realistic in terms of where you're going to strike that balance.
I just think of what's the alternative, right? Cronyism and taking care of your loyal friends. And we see what happens in Russia. I follow a lot of the Russian-Ukrainian war stuff, and you get your body armor pack and you open up the envelope, and instead of a steel plate, it's got a wooden plate in it. And that's what happens when you go with, cronyism and just go with your favorite guy instead of the talent.
Or Jeff, you get a Cybertruck. I'm sorry, but you get to a point in an organization where, the senior executive team, no one will say, the emperor has no clothes, right? No one's willing to speak truth to power in an organization. Eventually, the organization goes sideways. You can look at some of the recent debacles that have happened to different organizations. And what gets trotted out in certain aspects is, well, that's because of DEI hires, when the root cause of this is often just mismanagement. And often it's, leadership that's not listening to its own employees or is telling them there are some really core root problems going on here. Could have been solved if they'd gotten ahead of it. I mean, Boeing literally has whistleblowers that have been telling them for years about the problems they're having. So don't look to DEI hires as the problem. Look to management and leadership as the actual root cause of a lot of these issues.